Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's nice and sunny here. It feels good to wake up with the sun and just get some gentle movement in. This is going to be a little bit shorter than my Sunday morning flows have been, but still going to be very intentional, moving and breathing, and thank you so much for joining me this morning. This class is free, but if you feel it on your heart or it brings you joy, you're more than welcome to donate to this class. I have attached my Venmo as a pinned comment here, and on YouTube it'll be below. But once again, as always, being here, sharing this space with each and every one of you and just connecting in this way it's important to me. It's one of my favorite things to do. So no pressure, but there is that option if you're feeling led in that direction. A couple things today when practicing with me, if this is your first time. I just like to call myself a guide. So you do not have to follow everything that I do, everything I say. Don't always feel like you have to make everything look exactly the way I'm doing it. Please tap into your body, tap into your voice, and follow what feels right for you. Whatever the next step or the next movement or the next breath feels like for you, I always want to encourage you to follow that first. And secondly, if you are a music person, I always recommend listening to music when practicing yoga. I intentionally do not play music in these videos or while I'm recording so that you can kind of throw on what makes you feel good. So always highly recommend that as well. So today we're actually going to start our practice standing up at the top of our mats. So let's go there first. So standing in mountain pose at the top of your mat. Feet are about hip distance apart. Rooting into your mat, into the earth beneath you. As the crown of the head stretches up towards the sky and you feel your spine and your neck lengthen. And all you need to do here in this mountain pose right now is breathe. Taking deep, long inhales. Whatever kind of exhale feels good to you this morning, if you're feeling like you want to release and let go, maybe some loud, open mouth exhales with some noise feels good. Or if you're feeling like creating some heat and connecting inwards right now, maybe closing the lips together and just inhaling in and out through the nose feels good. Maybe it's a combination of both. And standing in this mountain pose, begin to feel your breath expanding in your body. Maybe you just woke up this morning, so the body's still waking up. But maybe you can feel a slight sensation of breath, creating space in parts of your body that haven't fully awakened yet. I want to invite you in this mountain pose right now to set an intention for this practice. Maybe it's a word or phrase or something you're wanting to embody today, this week, this month. Bringing that intention into your heart space and holding it with care. Letting it rest in your heart for a little bit. Maybe even breathing it in and out, and as you exhale, sending it out through your body, outside of you, and into the space around you. And bring your hands to that heart space right now, placing the palms on the heart. Pausing for this moment, physically holding your heart with your hands. Sending it love, sending it peace, sending it compassion. Take a big deep breath. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead, reach towards the sky. Exhale, grab the right wrist with the left hand, start to lean towards the left side, stretching the right side body. Inhale back to center. Exhale, grab the left wrist, leaning to the right. Inhale back to center, arms reach up. Exhale, fold gently over your legs, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, lifting the spine halfway, flat back. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Inhale, rooting to rise, lifting the arms up overhead, reach up. Exhale, grab the right wrist, lean towards the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, grabbing the left wrist, leaning towards the right. Inhale, back to center, look up. Exhale, folding forward, being gentle in your knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands back down to your mat. Inhale, rooting through the feet, lifting the arms up. Exhale, grabbing the right wrist. Inhale, center. Exhale, grab left wrist. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up, halfway lift. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. This time we're going to step back into plank pose. Always have the option to bring the knees down here. Actually, let's bring the knees down. And lower slowly all the way down to your belly. As you inhale, plant the tops of your feet into the earth. Lift the heart a little bit, baby cobra, pulling the shoulders out of your ears. Exhale, left ear down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, right ear down to the mat. Inhale, one last baby cobra. Exhale, come into tabletop position on your hands and knees. Inhale, heart lifts forward, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, cat. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, cow pose, lift the heart up. Exhale, pull the belly button in towards the spine, puff up through the back. Inhale, send the heart forward in cow pose, and as you exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. We'll pause in downward facing dog for a couple of breaths. For you to take your time in this pose, get acquainted with it for this practice. And let the head dangle in your downward facing dog. Maybe nodding the head yes, and also nodding the head no. Exercising our ability to have choice. Say yes to things that serve us, and not afraid to say no to things that don't. One more breath here. And as you exhale, slowly start to walk the feet up to meet the hands at the top of your mat, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bring the hands to shins. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Inhale, pulling energy up from your feet, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding over the legs, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands back down to the mat, stepping back into plank pose. Pausing for a breath in plank. And as you exhale, slowly lower all the way down to your belly. This time, bring the hands out wider than your mat. And place just the fingertips on the ground. So they're kind of like little spider legs. Palms are up off the ground. Inhale, lift the chest up, baby cobra. Exhale, left ear down. Inhale, baby cobra, pressing in through the tops of the feet. Exhale, right ear down. Inhale, baby cobra, heart lifts. And as you exhale, come into tabletop position on the hands and knees. Inhale, cat pose. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, drop the belly, heart lifts. Exhale, rounding the spine. One more cow pose. Look up towards the sky. Press the heart forward. And as you exhale, roll over the toes, send the hips back, downward facing dog. Taking deep breaths in this inversion, this downward facing dog here. One more breath here. And on your next exhale, start to walk the feet up to meet the hands at the top of your space. Inhale up to a halfway lift, creating space in the low back. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Inhale, reaching the arms up overhead, get long. Exhale, bring the hands in towards the heart, palms together in Anjali Mudra. Mountain pose with the thumbs against the heart. Coming back to the intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. Maybe you can feel your heart beating right now. Maybe you can hear your heart beating. What does that feel like? What is your heart saying to you right now? Inhale, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, hands back down to the mat, stepping just the right leg back this time, and immediately place that back knee down. So setting up for a low lunge here. Getting your foundation set first, and then begin to lift the arms up overhead. Anjalyasana, low lunge. Maybe it feels good to keep both hips very straight and towards the ground, or maybe it feels good to sink into that back hip a little bit. Or maybe you play back and forth, kind of rocking between the two sensations. Bring the hands down to frame that front foot. Slowly start to straighten the front foot as you send the hips back for half splits. Creating space in this front hamstring. Hands can be down on the mat. Or if it helps, you can bring 2 blocks or books to bring the earth up closer to you. But always leading with the heart in these types of stretches. Not just pulling and rounding and straining into them, but creating space with an inhale breath, and then just falling into that space as you exhale. It almost becomes a moving meditation. Start to bring the weight back onto that front foot, bending into the front knee. Coming up onto the ball of the back foot, lifting the back knee, twisting towards the left, crescent lunge twist. Reaching the left arm up towards the sky. Feeling the length in your spine here. It's almost like shooting energy out from your tailbone and from the top of your head at the same time. One more big breath here. And as you exhale, bring that left hand down to frame the front foot. Step the back foot up towards the top of your space, coming into a yogi squat, malasana. So turning the toes out about 45 degrees here. Bringing the heels in to face each other. And hands can come at the heart center. Or if resting the elbows on the knees feels good, that's an option as well. Letting the sacrum, the lower back, sink towards the earth. Begin to place that right hand on the ground inside the right knee as you lift the left fingertips up towards the sky. Little heart opener here. Exhale, bring the hand back down. Switch sides. Left fingertips come down to the mat on the inside of that left knee, reaching the right arm up. Bringing that right hand back down, staying in your malasana yogi squat for one more breath. As you inhale, place your hands down on the mat, lift the hips up, coming into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway, give that lower back some more space. Exhale, hands back down to the mat, step just the left foot back this time. Dropping the left knee. Creating your foundation and your alignment for your Anjalyasana low lunge on the left side this time. So building your stability, your support first, before growing and reaching up. Maybe it feels good on this side to bring the palms together over your head. Squeezing through the back a little bit, pressing the heart forward. Deep inhale right here. And as you exhale, bring the hands down to frame that front foot, straightening the front leg as you send the hips back, half splits. Making any adjustments that you need. And feeling confident in those choices. Or if not confident, maybe feeling curious. One more big breath here. And as you exhale, start to place that front foot down, bending into the front knee. Coming up off the back knee, twisting towards the right, low crescent lunge twist. Reaching the right arm up towards the sky. And twisting through your center, through your core here. On your next exhale, bring that right hand back down to the ground, framing the front foot. Moving that right foot out a little bit so you can step the left foot up. Malasana Yogi Squat at the top of your space. Always know in this pose you have the option to place a pillow or a block beneath your sacrum, your tailbone, if you need more support there. Otherwise, we sit in the way our bodies were designed to sit, and we release the low back. One more breath in this shape. Place the palms down on your mat, slowly lifting the hips up towards the sky, straightening the legs, Uttanasana, forward fold. And this time as you roll up, do it very, very slowly, as if you were trying to very meticulously stack each vertebrae on top of itself. Bringing the hips over the ankles, shoulders over the hips, letting the head be the last thing that comes up. Beautiful. Turn to face the long edge of your mat here. Bringing the feet out wide, a little bit wider than hips distance. Lift the arms, reach up overhead. And as you exhale, interlace the fingers behind your low back. Reach the knuckles down towards the earth as you lift the heart up. Take one big breath here. And as you exhale, fold forward towards the earth, letting the fingertips come up over your head. And finding any natural or organic movements that feel good here. As you're opening up the chest with the fingers behind your back, letting the neck hang, maybe bending into each hip a little bit, bending each knee. Bringing the fingertips down to the ground whenever you feel it's time for you. And bring those fingertips down now if you haven't yet. And we're going to explore a familiar shape. We're going to explore downward dog just in a little different and new perspective. So with the hands down on your mat in this wide-legged forward fold, start to walk the hands out off of your mat onto the floor. And press back as if you were pressing into downward facing dog with these wide legs. So just notice what it feels like to be in a shape that you know so well, possibly. But with a little variation in a different way, a new perspective, wider feet. Maybe you like this better than the traditional down dog, maybe you don't. But just noticing and exploring and staying curious about what's possible. Start to walk the hands back in towards your body, onto your mat. Turning towards that right foot. Turn the toes to the back of your mat, keeping the legs straight, coming into pyramid pose here. So toes facing the back of your mat. I like to stand up first to get some length in my spine, leading with my heart before folding over that front leg. The more you move your back foot, your left foot, towards the edge of your mat, the less sensation you will feel, as if your feet were on railroad tracks. And the more you bring that back foot, that left foot in line with your front, as if you're on a tightrope, the more sensation you will feel. One more breath here. And as you exhale, start to reach that left arm up towards the sky, coming into triangle pose, Trikonasana. So resting that bottom hand either on the floor, on the inside or outside of your foot, or maybe on the shin. Anywhere but the knee. One more breath here. As you exhale, bend into that front knee, reaching both arms up, bringing the toes to face the long edge of your mat. Once again, star pose. And as you exhale, wide-legged forward fold, leading with the chest. Pausing here just for a breath or two to regain the balance. Maybe you feel a difference in your right side and your left side in the legs. So we'll balance that out. So start to turn your left feet towards the front of your mat and your left toes towards the front of the mat and your right. Maybe you lift up to get your footing, to lengthen the spine first before folding over that left leg, pyramid pose. And maybe you notice here one side is tighter than the other. That's pretty common. And all you do is notice, take note, gather information. No need to add anything else to that noticing. Next breath in, start to reach that right arm up towards the sky. Triangle pose, Trikonasana on the left side. Continuing to stay with your breath in these poses, letting them really be the leader and the guide for these poses. letting them guide you to maybe go a little deeper, letting them guide you to back off, or maybe they just guide you to stay in the moment, which is the practice. Next breath in, bend into that front knee, reach the arms up overhead, turning the toes back towards the long edge of your mat. Exhale, one more wide-legged forward fold, bringing the body all the way down. And taking these last few breaths in your wide-legged forward fold to do what feels good for you here. So finding any shape or any movements that you feel like your body's calling for right now, or maybe that your breath is leading you to right now. You have a few breaths here to explore that and to feel what that is for you this morning. And take 2 more breaths. And come back to center in this wide-legged forward fold. Come up onto the fingertips of your hands, lengthening through the spine. Keeping a soft bend in the knees, bring your hands to your hips. And as you inhale, rise up, bringing the heart up. Stepping back to the top of your space. Taking a moment in this mountain pose where we started our practice to notice and feel anything that feels different. Anything that feels the same. Maybe you come back to your intention, your body and your breath. Remember this pose, this position where you set that intention. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding down over your legs. Begin to bring the butt down to the ground with you, bending into the knees and come down to sit. Bring the soles of the feet together, letting the knees fall out to the side for bound angle pose. So interlacing the fingers and grabbing the bottom of the feet here, lifting your chest, and maybe just sitting right this is good enough. Feels like enough sensation. If you'd like a little bit more, you can start to lead with the heart. Maybe pulling your feet open like a book with your thumbs. Feeling the stretch in the inner hips. Coming back up to a seat, gently pressing the knees in with your hands. We're going to come into happy cow pose here. So let's start with the left leg on the ground. So bringing that left heel towards the right sit bone so that the left knee is facing straight out in front of you. Stack the right knee on top of it, so bringing that right heel to the left sit bone. Maybe this is good enough. I feel a lot of sensation in my outer hips right here. I don't know about you. If you want a little bit more, leading with the heart once again, start to just walk the hands out in front of you. Feeling the space that this shape creates in the outer hips. This is one of my favorite poses for this. I feel such a big release in this position. Beautiful. Start to walk the hands back towards the knees. Unwinding here. Maybe giving the legs a little bit of a shake before switching to the other side. So this time placing the left leg, left knee on the ground first. I'm sorry, the right. So bringing the right heel in towards the left butt. And bringing the left heel in towards the right sit bone. Stacking that left knee on top of the right. Lifting up through the spine, getting long first before moving into that space as far as feels good in your body today. So we want to feel sensation in these stretches, but we also need to trust ourselves to know when too far is too far, and also know when we're not feeling enough sensation. So we find this balance. And we trust that we know that our body knows what it needs, what it wants, what it's doing. And we connect to that intuition within us. Slowly start to walk the hands back to the knees, unraveling the legs, straightening them out in front of you, shaking it out. Slowly beginning to lower down onto your back on your mats and make sure you have enough space behind you. And as you get down on your back, pull the knees in towards the chest. Give them a big squeeze. And let both knees drop to the right as you exhale, coming into a spinal twist, keeping both knees bent 90 degrees. Letting that left arm fall out to the side. Inhale, bring both knees back to the chest. Pausing for a breath here at center. And as you exhale, let those knees fall over to the left this time. Bringing both knees back to center. Before we come into our last pose of Shavasana, you have a yogi's choice here. So yogi's choice for one final pose before our resting pose. Maybe taking Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle feels good. Bringing the soles of the feet together as the knees splay out to the side. Maybe a happy baby. Grabbing the outsides of your feet. Your choice here, whatever your body or your breath, your heart is calling for before we fully relax into our Shavasana. One more deep breath wherever you are. And as you exhale, And let the feet and the arms lengthen out. Let your body take up space here. Release anything you've been holding on to. Let it all go. And trust yourself to just fully submerge into this Shavasana. Very gently begin to invite some small movements back into the body here. You always have the option to stay here as long as you like. But if you feel ready, start to roll the head slowly from side to side. Roll out the wrists and ankles. Maybe take a big stretch, pulling the arms up overhead. And in your own way, in your own time, choosing your own path, find your way back up to a seated position, Sukhasana. And keeping the eyes closed or an inward gaze here, soft inward gaze. And once you get to your Sukhasana, your easy seat pose, bring the palms together at the heart center. Once again, placing the thumbs on the heart here. Feeling the space and the openness. The many abilities that this part of us holds and has. Feeling the connectedness to the world around us here, to the other humans, the other beings in our lives. Bringing those thumbs up to the third eye center, space in between the eyebrows. Connecting to this spot of intuition, this place of higher knowledge of our greatest teacher that lives within each and every one of us, who is ourselves. I see you, I honor you, and I thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shanti, Shanti, peace, peace, peace. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.